gallbladder. And when they found they had to do all this work, they think it was too much. And then my heart came out.
Is that when you went to heart failure? Or?
What?
You went into heart
I got high
failure?
blood pressure.
Did you get your lungs fill up? Oh, you had pneumonia too.
Yeah. So that they had this cartograph. They had it on me all the time. So keeping on reading it, see. And then they moved me into a room where I was supposed to die, see. Here I'm an oxygen for a month in there, see. And the doctor tells me, you're going to die. You're going to die.
Told you.
You're going to die, yeah. He's going to make me spit up mucus out of my lungs.
Yeah, that's right.
And I can't. And he says, you're better, you're dying.
Oh, he wanted you to cough it up?
Yeah, he's trying to scare me, I guess. But I couldn't cough. I never could. Lots of times I noticed mucus in there, and even nowadays. I never could make
You
anything
can't make
come up.
yourself cough.
Yeah. So, I went around for years with a tube. They wanted me to check me for TB. They had suspected I had TB. But what it had been, I knew what I had had. One time was when I was bumming around the country, I got pneumonia, see? And I never went to a doctor, and it got well by itself, see? And that left scar tissue in there.
Yeah, that's right. They see the
And the scar tissue looks like
It could be you might have had TB too. You
and
can
it's possible.
most people
that I had
had some TB.
Remember, I had a friend who I took back to Detroit, and he died from TB.
I vaguely recall that in the floating in the back.
That automobile accident. I was with him when I had that automobile accident. And
Well, when you
where did you land? Where did you go?
Yeah.
Which hospital?
he fell out. This guy was dying. This guy was dying, and he fell out through. I had a soft top Buick, and he went through the soft top and landed on the top. And the car went down.
It flipped?
It hit 2,000 feet.
Oh,
The car landed on my head.
And where did he land? On top of
On
the...
the top, he didn't even get a scratch. And I took him home, and about a year later, he died. He was about 27 years old.
Of TB?
TB. His father died from TB. His mother died from TB.
Sure.
His brother died from TB.
Where was that accident?
What?
When you
In
went
Winnemucca.
Where's that?
Near Winnemucca. Winnemucca was the closest town. That's in Nevada.
Oh,
You know, where they get all them canyons.
Yeah.
my God, 2,000 feet.
And I was lucky a sheriff had come by in a car, and they,
Were you unconscious?
Yeah.
You must have been.
I was unconscious for a week.
Yeah.
And Abe came down there and picked me up, took me to Detroit, and I was still unconscious.
Oh.
And the doctor found $600 in my pocket, so he charged that as the fee. I had another $3,000 in a compact.
You were lucky you didn't find that.
My friend knew I had that, and he grabbed the compact, see? My friend was so worried about me losing it that he taped it to his stomach to keep from losing it. Then he gave it to Abe when he came.
Hey, that was a good friend.
Yeah, he was a better friend than my brother, actually.
Here, since you're the speaker, you always get the speaker.
Hey, you are red, Herbie. How come you're so
Well,
red?
That's whiskey red, huh?
Yeah, no,
I
he
gotta have a little drink. Come on.
Yeah.
I have to stop in down
He's
there
been
for...
running. We went back to that other place we were staying at.
Well, a young guy like that shouldn't get winded from running.
He never stops running. He never sits down. And I'll have some.
Here.
So, where was I?
You came to the bottom
We're
of the
at the
canyon.
bottom of the canyon.
There you were at the bottom of the canyon, car resting on your head.
So that's that. I had a gold nugget in my tie with a nice big diamond in it. It got clipped off when I finally got my necktie. I found the pin sticking in it. No diamond, no nugget. Of course, it's probably still laid there.
Yeah, I see.
Some prospector's gonna think it was gold and that else gonna find diamond. You start a big lot digging for some more, you won't find any.
Yeah, Abe took me to Detroit. He took this friend of mine too, and naturally we couldn't leave him stranded, which is all right. And then Abe kept a bill of everything that happened.
Boy, Abe has earned his reputation. I think everybody mentions
He
that.
kept track of the cigars that he bought for him and my friend, the beers that he bought for him and my friend, every item. See, and when I got well, he gave me an itemized bill. I paid for him coming, picking me up, and everything else. I could have killed him. That's the way I felt about it.
Oh, that really
They
wasn't.
said nothing, and I paid him. That's it. I've never said nothing about it.
Oh, that's terrible.
Your worst enemy would do that.
Really?
Everybody.
Oh, that's
Charging me
true.
for my friend would have been all right.
Well, I don't know.
Charge me for coming and picking me up, and would have been all right too. But to charge me for his food and for everything.
Oh, that's terrible.
But that does not appear at all out of context. It's just interesting how everything adds up.
Everybody says the same thing about AIDS.
You know the funny thing.
We've seen it.
They called me the black sheep, and they were all my enemies. And now I'm the only one that is their friends. None of them could have gotten along with anybody except me.
Yeah, that's it. No, they know. Who calls you the black sheep?
Oh, the black sheep. You
Not
got
Myrtle,
to
not Myrtle and...
No, Lori is the one that gave me that name.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah, Lori. They used to have a club, see. They used to call them the forget-me-nots. They used to raise money for Israel, see, when we were children. And she used to tell all the girls in the club I was the black sheep. I never knew it until years later. The funny thing is that I became a very good friend with one of her girlfriends, see.
Yeah.
She was married, and she was a communist too, see. And so because of our work, we became better friends than Lori was with, see. And I see them in New York. They live in New York now. And one day she told me, she said, "Did you know that Lori used to tell everybody you was the black sheep?" So Lori admits it. She's told a lot of people that she used to tell people I was the black sheep. She said, "I didn't know what it meant."
Well, you really...
It's just like Laban Miller's sister, you know. It's the wrong things to do. But, you know, in this world, we got to forget these things.
Well, you do.
Because...
You never fight with either one of them, do you?
I don't fight with nobody. I've been around this world and seen what happens all over. And the world is the same all over, and it's the same problems.
Is it really?
That's right. Everybody is the same, no matter where you go. And actually, people that spend their money traveling, unless they want to see historic things, are just throwing their money away. Because you can see everything that's beautiful, you can see it right here in America. There's lots of wonderful places to see.
So why do you keep traveling?
Well,
Must be something.
It's because once you go into this here and do it as long as I have, you're restless. When you're ashore, you want to be somewhere else, and when you're somewhere else, you want to be at home. And every seaman he's that way now. He hates the ship and he hates the shore.
That's right.
Isn't
That's
it
right.
interesting?
It becomes it's your blood. And no matter where I go, I'm cold, and where I can't find no place warm enough for me anymore. My blood is thinned down, you know, from hot climates and stuff.
Yeah, that does happen. That your blood
You
is
get
thin.
you just used to certain temperature situations.
What's your favorite place?
I haven't got it.
No?
It used to be Japan before the war.
But
But
why
it
is
is,
it different?
you see, before in Japan, you'd go with a girl, you'd have a wonderful time, it didn't cost you much money, and she was as nice to you as you was to her. The Americans have spoiled all this. Today, the Japanese are nothing but a bunch of whores, and before they were the same thing, but different. They
But
had
they're
class.
respectful horse. Now
Yeah,
they're
they had class.
Now they're just
Now they're
prostitutes.
just bums.
So put it this way. Now they used to be nice horses. Now they're just
Before,
prostitutes.
they only did sex the natural way, and you had a wonderful time with them, see? You sat, you danced with them, you stood all night with them, you went to Turkish baths with them, and everything, see? Now, they bleed you to death. They charge you more than it would cost you in America. And today, before they used to have beautiful hotels where they lived in, and where you came and you met them, and you paid a fee to the hotel to stay with them, and they entertained you, they played music, they sang.
Well, is that geisha girl?
Yeah, geisha.
Oh.
Now, you have nothing but plain prostitutes. And they hang around in bars. They don't allow these geisha houses anymore.
Oh, there aren't any?
No, the only type of geisha houses now they got is where they're real high-priced ones, where they're entertainers.
Oh.
Sometimes maybe some real rich guy can take them out, but the odds are against it. They're strictly entertainers, see? And now instead of having these hotels with the bathroom and everything, where you go into this real hot pool and you come out, she massages you and everything, they got Turkish baths all over the place. You go to these Turkish baths, and there's a girl in there, and she massages you, and sometimes she'll try to get you warmed up so you want to sleep with her, but she can't sleep with you. They got to do a fast business with you, see, and you slip them something extra, see. And this is against the law, but the prostitutes scream about it, and so they fix the door so they can watch it now. But they do it anyhow, see. And that costs you about $15, the Turkish bath and whole works. See, and actually a Turkish bath should cost you about $2, see. And then you pick up these girls at the street. So before you can pick them up in the bars, you got to drink with them. And the drinks over there are very expensive because Japan don't have good whiskey, and even good rum whiskey they charge you. Imported whiskey is very high, and the average drink per girl may cost you $4. And all she's drinking is tea. She's drinking tea, and you're paying $4 for it. So I'm not interested in paying that kind of money for girls, buying her drinks that aren't drinks, and then on top of that, you want her to go out with you, you have to pay the bar money, and then because they're losing her trade, which they would make from the drinks that she would drink. So you pay them money, then you take her to the hotel, you pay for the hotel, then you got to pay her money.
Gee, $350 a month wouldn't get you very far with that.
$100 don't get you nowhere.
Gee,
in other words, if you'd have grown up under those circumstances, you probably would end up being forced to get married.
Well,
if that had been the case,
I don't think that would make the difference. Marriage, I think, is a question. You see, there's a lot of us in our family aren't married. And I think that's a psychological question. I think it's a question of what went on in our home. And because of what went on in our home, we never got married.
Why? Why did you never?
Because, you see, in our home, we were all played off against each other. And each one, this is my child, and this is my child, like my two youngest sisters. And that's the cause of a lot of the difficulties. Lori was responsible for all of it. Actually.
Really? What's she really?
Because they were wanting to get up, to get away from where we lived. She was in a hurry.
She really wanted to
keep
escape,
up with
but she really did.
She wanted to escape, but she's still trying to escape. There ain't none.
She wanted to deny her heritage.
Yeah, she wanted to be rich. She wanted to marry a doctor, you know. She wanted to marry somebody that's going to give her everything ready, see? A house with all the best things in it, see? And who could you meet to do that? A doctor or a lawyer is all on those days.
That's right.
Huh? And the Jewish mothers and fathers are mostly responsible for that. But I'm sure my mother and father didn't put those ideas in her head. But she thought she was too good for everybody. A lot of nice kids asked her to marry him, and every one of them became very wealthy. But she wanted it already on the table, see?
Too bad. How come Myrtle never got married?
Because the terrible, what?
Myrtle said when she was a young girl, she decided she would never get married.
Well, that's why, because of what happened to the family.
You mean because of all the...
All the bickering, the hatred, the fighting between all of us. Fred, he decided he was gonna take care of all of us. We should all stick in our money with him, and he'll make us all rich. He hasn't even been able to do anything for himself. When he had that drugstore, I came with a lot of money, see? And he wanted me to go in with him, see? I told him, I'll go in with you and get you out of the mess. On one condition, that your wife stays home and minds her own business. He wouldn't do it.
Oh, no kidding, he really?
No. How am I going to run a business with his wife sticking her nose in? She wasn't fit to run that business.
Yeah, neither one of them.
All right, and he wasn't. I knew that too. But I could handle him, but not with his wife. You should talk about your mother like that.
No, I know my mother very well. I know my father. I even know my wife.
And so, actually, you see, your father had Myrtle, I think, or vice versa. Or he had the youngest one, and mother had Myrtle. One or the other. And each one, you couldn't hit one, or the other one couldn't hit the other, see? And my father, he went to work one time. He was a glazer, see? And as a glazer, He could have done his own contract and become very rich because he came in a city that had nothing and it was growing.
You son of a gun, you guys really screwed me up. Y'all could have been rich. My father, a pharmacist, could have made money.
And the
all the
funny thing
possibles.
is, my father was a well-educated fellow, see? There was no excuse for all this. He was educated in Europe. He read every form of literature there is. He read it in Yiddish, but it made no difference what language he read it, and he read it. He could tell you about guy do off the center, and everybody. He knew everything that was known, and his whole family was like that. But they were all all his brothers and everyone. From what I've met and what I've seen of them, the whole descendancy, they were individualists. See, and that's a terrible thing to be individualists. And I don't blame them for it. I think the environment that they grew up had to do with them too. They grew up in Russia where there was pogroms all the time. They had to run for everything. All the learning they did was hard way to learn because it wasn't allowed. And to become learned, you had to be something, see. And when I visited Israel, I met his brother's children, and they told me about my father's brother, who they're descended from, and
Oh, that's what my father, who told me? Molly told me that you had met somebody from Israel.
His name was Ruben, and he...
What do you want, pen?
No, my jacket, my coat. He made this in India for $20. It cost $90 here. This coat.
Is that right?
He made it?
I had it made.
It made?
Yeah, here.
For $20.
For $20. Here it would cost me $96. It's made out of mohair wool. See, this is my cousin, her daughter. This is her husband. He's not related.
Oh, look at a little blind girl.
She reminds me of Molly's story.
Where's this, on the boat?
Don't she look something like Molly's story?
Maybe a little bit. Is that on the boat?
Yeah, that's on the boat. I'm working you.
Is that what you wear?
What do you...
We don't always wear the same thing.
Now, are you the capacity of head waiter ever, or what are you the capacity of?
What?
What do you work as?
A waiter.
I mean, are you ever head waiter, or is that a different
Never
job?
head waiter.
Never head waiter.
I've been chief steward, but never head waiter.
I remember you. Well, what's chief steward?
Chief steward is over the head waiter. He's the boss of the whole ship. The steward's.
But this last ship you were waiter, but not chief steward, not waiter. Well, what's petty officer?
Petty officer.
Well, I once remember referring to you as chief petty officer. Or something. Were you chief petty officer?
No, chief petty officer can be anybody. Now, if the chief steward is an officer, see, but the head waiter could be called a petty officer, see. But in our department, we don't bother with those kind of titles. In the deck and engine department, you call petty officers, but we don't bother with them.
Well, because I remember when I was a kid, running here or something.
When you saw me when I was a kid in uniform, I was a chief steward. I was in a chief steward's uniform, and I have the rating of a lieutenant.
Mm-hmm. That was probably wartime involved or something.
Yeah, it's only during the war I got a rating as with the government as a lieutenant, junior grade, and then I became.
Oh, the only thing I can remember back to the fire engine, I remember a big fire engine with a wind-up ladder. Everybody tells me they don't remember a wind-up ladder. I remember a wind-up ladder for some reason. And I remember you take. Did you ever take much in the way of movie pictures?
Yeah. I got some of them, but Molly and those in Belial.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Where do you keep the picture?
There's some trunks somewhere put away. Got about 20 trunks.
You drive
I got
a
scattered all over.
truck when you kick the bucket. You got some pictures with
have old movies of the family?
I got a lot of books. I'm thinking of taking them out and giving them all away, getting rid of everything I got.
Books? You mean books and studying? What?
Reading books.
What about moving pictures? I remember vaguely you taking moving pictures in front of the bank building and all that stuff.
I don't use it anymore, but I still got it.
I got to get some pictures of you one of these days while we're here.
Yeah.
Big camera. We're busy collecting pictures and
Well, I'll tell you.
reconstructing the crime.
Actually, we're wasting good time today being Saturday. You should want
Okay, let's go.
to see the crowds.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go eat.
Let's go.
Are you hungry?
If you wanted to eat, You know, I don't know if we can eat at this time in a place I usually like to eat.
Oh, well, I'll tell you, doesn't have to cost me anything for supply.
What?
Because Uncle Sam's paying for everything.
Good old Uncle Sam. Nice to have an Uncle Sam.
Mm-hmm.
You have an Uncle Sam?
Don't we all?
Yeah.
My mother's got Uncle Sam. That's the United States.
U.S.
U.S. government.
I come from upper U.S.
Oh.
What is today, anyways?
Huh?
What is today? What's the date? You know the date?
Mm-hmm. St. Patty's Day.
That's right, it is. Hey, you know what? You want to know something interesting? That's my Uncle Peter, the one on this recording. It's his birthday, and his twin sister's birthday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's also...
Wait, your Uncle Peter, is that the one who does the carving?
No, that's my Uncle Archie. My Uncle Peter is the one in on the Merchant Marines, he's single.
Oh,
He's,
that's right. That's the one who brought those back, those beautiful babies
Right.
from somewhere. Where?
So,
From Greece?
yeah, from Greece. It's his birthday. It's my sister's, Cyril's anniversary today. And so, boy, the month of March is really loaded with things, you know, really loaded.
The big one.
When's your birthday, Bruce?
It's past.
When was that?
The 1st of March.
Yeah, there you go. There's another March. Today's the 17th of March.
30th.
Does this all go back to June? Is that what March means, June? The nights of June? Does March point backwards to the nights of June in the preceding year? March, April, May, June, sure. Those hot June nights.
Oh, yeah, that's right. March and April, that's right. This is the March, Nathan's March, the baby's April, and,
Rhonda's in January.
I don't know what happened there, January.
Her birthday's the 16th.
There must have been another hot night there.
What's that joke about the worms? How does that go?